Good afternoon. We'll be talking about social contagions today. This might be a long one, I'm not sure. So, let's go ahead and start off by defining what exactly is a social contagion. A social contagion is a series of beliefs or behaviors that spread from one person to another, typically through the use of peer pressure. That's basically it. These things are often called fads or crazes, and that's pretty much about as much as most people know about them. So, why am I talking about this? Simply put, someone showed me a video the other day. It was about a young woman online talking about her anxiety disorder. And, fair enough, obviously. I'm not going to shame somebody into not talking about the things that bother them, especially if they're looking to change it, or if they're looking to get help. That's entirely necessary. And you should help people. Especially if they're suffering from something, in their mind that they can't get away from. But that was not the purpose of this video. The purpose of the video she was making was that she made a video talking about her anxiety disorder as if it was something fun and quirky. And the comments section was intensely disturbing, because the comments section was all saying, "Oh, wow, she's cute. Man, I think I have a social disorder too. Ooh, I think I have anxiety. Sometimes I get nervous about things too." The comment section was almost universally like that, and that was horrifying. And then I looked at all the likes and shares that this video was getting, and I began to dread. That one video. Quite a few people looked at that who otherwise would have perfectly normal behavior, perfectly adaptive behavior. And they look at that and then they begin modeling their behavior off of somebody who may or may not have anxiety, but certainly somebody who's pretending to. Certainly somebody who's acting like they have anxiety. Now, it's entirely possible that once you mimic a behavior long enough, it becomes a habit. And if you mimic a disorder long enough, and then the behaviors of that disorder become a habit, then congratulations, it's habitual. You have given yourself a mental disorder. So, going back to social contagions, there is an entire attention economy built around people talking about their mental disorders, which they may or may not have, and it gets them attention. It gets them shares, it gets them likes, it gets them views. Views, shares, and likes, and subscribers. Well, unfortunately for too many people, that's basically the highest value of their life. So they see that. They see that these people in their own minds are successful, so then they begin to, as most humans do, mimic successful behavior, or at the very least, mimic the mannerisms of successful behavior. You get enough people doing this, you get them doing it for long enough, and all of a sudden there is a massive spike in a variety, a medley plate of psychological disorders among most countries that have an internet connection. And people wonder why. The problem with social contagions is that they're very difficult to fight unless you have a culture in place which actively pulls against it, which actively gives normalizing behavior, and then you need the people who are vulnerable to this to be surrounded by the people in this culture who will model good behavior. Now, we had several years of state-enforced social isolation, so most people could only socialize on the internet. And the fun thing about these internet chat rooms is that you might be the one person in, say, 100 or 1,000 that has a particular interest or disorder. But when you go online, that 1 in 1,000 people from all over the place can all congregate in one area. And then all of a sudden, you're not 1 in 1,000. You are the group. Your maladaptive behavior is the norm. And then if anybody who is a part of the normal group who doesn't have any sort of disorder or any sort of strange interest comes there, well, then all of a sudden they're the odd one out. Their social instincts kick in, they begin to change their behavior as it pulls towards the new normal, and your group grows by one. It does this until it snowballs. And that is how social contagions are getting out of control. So, unfortunately, that video is basically, unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit of a downer, but thankfully there is something you can do. There is something you can do to protect yourself and protect your friends. And much like most psychological contagions, the answer is simple. You just have to be aware of it. You just have to, every now and again, observe your own behavior. Think to yourself, why am I acting in this manner? Did I choose to do this, or did somebody else convince me to act this way? Through advertising, through being a celebrity, through being a socialite. What is in my mind, and who put it there? If you ask yourself this question even a couple of times a month, you can basically clear yourself out of any of this nonsense. Ask yourself if things in your mind are good for you or bad for you, and how they got there. So, that is pretty much all I have to say on this one, for now at least. It looks like there's a storm coming. Well, aside from that, my usual goodbye. Get outside every now and again, get some exercise, fresh air. Talk to your friends, make sure they're okay. Talk to your family, and stay close to them. Care for others, and care for yourself. Have a good day.